Welcome to MotoMouths, the podcast for MotoGP, motorsports, and more. I'm your host, Zoe, and go dogs. Sick 'em.
I'm your other host, also named Zoe, and I'm honestly really shocked by that display. I don't really know what to do with that.
Your beloved Georgia Bulldogs are up 1-0 after kicking the shit out of Marshall on Saturday, and it started off what would be a very great sports weekend for me.
Who's Marshall?
Marshall is a university in West Virginia.
Okay, sure. Love that. Love the vibes. Clearly started the weekend off good.
Anyways, yes, college football is back, baby. And you're going to start hearing a lot more about the Georgia Bulldogs on this podcast. I'm sorry, it's going to happen. I have a platform and I will use it.
Yeah. I don't watch football of any kind, so you won't hear that from me.
Sad! Exclamation point.
I got enough with my bitch ass motorsports making my life hell.
That's true. Speaking of your bitch ass motorsports, has anything happened in the world of MotoGP?
Not particularly. It's been a pretty quiet off week. I think that's good. MotoGP, I think, it's a little bit different than F1 when we talk about like double and triple headers. Because you have bodies on bikes as opposed to bodies in cars, it tends to be a lot harder on the riders. So a triple header is like a recipe for disaster, like to bones, not just to like brains. Being tired, which is a serious issue for F1. Not saying it isn't. But all of that to say, I think last year there were like 2 triple headers in the MotoGP calendar, and everyone was like, we cannot fucking do this again. And Dorna was like, so true, Kings, we won't. Which is crazy.
But they listened.
Exactly. All that to say, we've got a doubleheader. We just finished. We have a week off. We're going into another doubleheader. So it's been pretty quiet, thankfully. I think everyone's prepping, relaxing, prepping. The only thing I do want to mention is that in this like quiet week off, Fermin Aldeguar has talked about Pedro Acosta, which is, I think, my favorite like B plot of this season in MotoGP.
Like talk smack, like they're beefing? Because I know they're beefing.
They've had beef.
Right.
They've had beef. They are both from like the same place in Spain. They both came up obviously through like Moto3 and Moto2, or like, you know, a path up to Moto2 at the very least. And they just like had a lot of beef in Moto2. Like, I think they were friends for a while and they weren't, like, you know, as all great rivalries exist. And it's just been like they've fought a lot on track this season. And I think it's been really fun to watch. But it's so interesting because someone asked Aldeguar over the last couple of weeks, what the fuck is up? He goes, basically, there's never been any problem between us. It's a rivalry. It's just a matter of character.
Okay, so the first sentence is immediately contradicted by the second sentence. Love
and then
that.
The third sentence comes in with a steel fucking chair. Which,
yeah,
again,
exactly.
Fermin, there's a lot of, I think, xenophobia that happens in MotoGP that no one really talks about, where like a lot of riders get shit on by some journalists and parts of the press for not having perfect English. They speak minimum 3 to 4 languages. It's fine that they don't speak perfect English.
Yes.
Shut the fuck up. And Aira Shinini is victim of this a lot.
Your British ass only speaks British English, which isn't even real.
Right. I only speak one language. Like,
I barely speak one language.
This is like peer to peer. We are like, hey man, shut up. You're making us look bad. And that's like hard to do.
Yeah. The amount of nonsense I have to edit out of this podcast because I don't know English.
Yeah.
Rough.
So I say all of that to say this is also like translated. So bear with it. He then goes to say, I swear I don't have any problem. And I think the one that has to change the way I see it is him in his environment.
Okay, so again with the contradicting of the sentences immediately.
He was then asked who is superior between him and Acosta, and Fermin goes, as a talent, me. As a worker, him.
What does this mean?
Well, remember what Casey Stoner said.
I was literally about to say, talent works hard until hard works... No. What? See, the English.
Hard work, or no, talent beats, wait.
Hard work, wait, I got it. Hard work beats talent until talent decides to work hard.
Right. So I think, like, I guess that's the point he's trying to make. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was really funny.
I think that is hilarious. Also, they're like 20.
Yeah, right.
They should be bickering over like prepping a sorority semi-formal.
No, like they should be bickering over like slating exec board.
Yes.
Like that should be their like knockdown drag out fight. And then when they're both like 24, they run into each other at a bar and they're like, oh my God, why were we never friends?
Me and every person I went to college with.
Exactly. The only other thing to really talk about with MotoGP this weekend is that we are prepping for Barcelona.
The Catalan GP.
Correct. And that is coming up next weekend.
Very exciting. Is this the same track that F1 races on?
It is. It's the one that looks like the cat with like the fists up.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is one of those ones where it's like, oh, you look vaguely familiar. We've met before.
We've met.
I do think it's really funny, and I think it's apt that this track came to be in 1989
because of
Taylor Swift.
Oh,
I was thinking it's funny.
I was thinking like, I don't know, the fall of like fascism in Spain.
No, I was talking about Taylor Swift, Zoe. I thought you would have picked up on that. That's like the third most common thing we talk about on this podcast.
I was thinking about General Francisco Franco or whatever his name was.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Well, and also in addition to that, it was made in 1989 and it's the home circuit of her ex-boyfriend.
Right. Fernando Alonso.
Right.
Exactly. Rookie of the year.
Well, maybe not anymore, but we'll get into that later.
Basically, a lot of people like this one. It is widely considered to be one of the best design tracks of the current MotoGP era.
Yeah. And it's great in F1 too. So I don't know why the fuck they're getting rid of it, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah, that's a crash out for another pod. Some other piece of information about the circuit. So the circuit is known for having really long straights. We've got that long one down at the kind of base of the track layout. Super fast corners and a lot of elevation changes. Mm-hmm. So that means there's a lot to kind of take into account when you're racing around it. All that to say, we talked about this last week a little bit. Alex Marquez likes this track. Mark doesn't.
Right.
But that's for like a given amount of Mark not liking anything. So should we do our predictions?
I think so. Would you like to go first?
Sure. I actually didn't prep any of these, so this is really off the cuff. I'm going to go with a Mark P1.
Wow. Shocking.
I know. Also, this one I will say is the one I feel least confident about, choosing Mark P1. However, here's my propaganda.
Okay.
Mark did not like Qatar, did not like Assen. He won both of those races handily.
Yeah.
On a bike he was nowhere near as acclimated to at the beginning of the season compared to now.
Right. And I just think that, again, Spanish boost.
Right. It is a documented thing. Also, he needs to have a perfect weekend this weekend if we are to get a match point in Misano.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. I am going to go with Marco Bezzecchi P2.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with the Digia P3. And I know this is like bonus, doesn't matter. I think a Pecco P4 because I want him to make some ground up
progress.
Right. I want him to grow. Like I want that bike to get better for him.
Right.
Do I think that's going to happen? No, but that's what I want. Also, here's another thing of do I think it's going to happen, but it's what I want. Alex Marquez fail king because he needs to have a shit weekend. So that's it's actually like the least, I think, logical prediction I've ever made in the history of this podcast.
Okay. I guess we will see. For me, I am going to go with a Mark P1 for the exact same reasons you are.
Oh my God, we're so smart.
So smart. I'm going to go with a Fabio Quartararo.
Okay.
P2. He's won here in the past quite a bit, and he's had success in the Spanish tracks this year so far. So
hell yeah.
We'll see.
What? We've had 3 pole sitters this year. It's Mark, Bez, and Fabio.
Exactly. And then I'm going back to the beginning when I said Marco Bezzecchi P3 every single week.
No, this is the time for it.
Literally, now it's the time because he's been P3 for the past 3 races.
I think he's been on the podium 3 out of the last 4 races.
And they've all been P3s. And then for fail king, I'm going to go with Fermin Aldeguar.
Okay.
You talk shit. You talk shit, you get hit, is what I'm thinking.
I mean, sure. Listen, we never said we were unbiased. If I were to pick, I'm firmly on the Aldeguar side of the Aldeguar Acosta beef. Like, I really enjoy
100%.
It.
Agree 100%.
I don't have skin in the game, but that's where I stand.
That doesn't mean Pedro Acosta isn't going to take him out.
Right.
Anyways, I guess we will see what happens this weekend. Very exciting. Okay, I think that brings us to the great wide world of motorsport.
Which I feel like this week will be maybe not as wide.
No,
but it will be
I
fun.
think it'll be quite narrow. I want to start by saying wow, what an exciting weekend full of great racing at a permanent racing facility.
Yeah.
Sure hope they don't take that away.
Yeah. That like genuinely makes me sad.
I think this was my favorite weekend of the year.
No, it's like I love Australia because it's always such
Chaotic.
a fucking mess.
Mm-hmm.
I love Spa because it's gorgeous. I like Barcelona a lot because I like that track. And I love Zandvoort because like personally, I've been there. It's a great time. But it pretty often gives us good racing.
Yeah, same with me in Montreal.
Also a good track I enjoy.
Yes. I think this was a great weekend. We had a lot of excitement in practices. We had a lot of excitement in qualifying. The race was very exciting. It was just a great weekend all around. So
conveniently, this was a race that started like in my morning time.
Yeah, 9 a.m. Perfect.
It was 8 for me and I was like awake at 7:40 and I was like, I guess I'm watching the race live.
Yeah, same. I woke up at like 8:45 and I was like, oh, guess it's time to watch F1.
Time to lock in. And I will say, I think I've mentioned this, you probably saw it. It's just like, I love MotoGP so much. And I do, hot take, if I were to pick one in the state of things right now, MotoGP is better racing. I'll say that right now. I don't give a fuck who.
No, it's better racing. It just
disagrees.
Is.
It just is. But there's something in the fucking water when I watch a good F1 race.
Right. It's like coming home.
Yeah, it's like there's something about it that's so satisfying that I was walking on clouds all day. Even when it's a hate watch, even when it is a successful, spiteful hate watch.
Right.
I'm still like, this was fun.
There have been numerous times in my F1 watching career where I've literally almost broken my bed, leaping forward and like slamming on the bed out of excitement. That has yet to happen to me in MotoGP. I'm sure it will, but this race was one of those races.
I think the thing is that like F1 is, the race itself is 2 hours long.
Yes.
And MotoGP, the race itself is like 40 minutes.
So it's a lot more condensed excitement, whereas like I think the excitement in F1 happens more sporadically, which makes your reaction
It's like
bigger.
The highest highs and the lowest lows.
No,
and
truly.
The lows are like just pure apathy.
Yeah. Let's take a look at our predictions just to start, and then we'll get into it.
What did we say?
So we both said Max Verstappen P1.
Like, close.
He had not a legal P1.
Like, he could have had P1 if he went for a crash gate kind of P1.
I said Oscar Piastri P2, George Russell P3, and then I got Fail King right. I said Lando Norris. You said a Lando P2, Oscar P3, and then you also got Fail King right because you said Lewis Hamilton.
I texted you. I was like, what did I fucking say about Lewis having a shit weekend in Zandvoort?
Yeah.
What did I say? Did I want it? No. And it happened in the stupidest possible way.
Stupidest possible way.
Like, that was so dumb.
That was some Lando Norris type shit.
That's rough. That's mean.
Sorry. And then in actuality, what the podium was an Oscar Piastri P1, a Max Verstappen P2, and a Isack Hadjar P3. My beautiful baby boy capybara, Isack Hadjar P3 after an outstanding weekend. Qualified P4, ended up P3.
He kept P4 the entire
race.
He kept it.
Yes. And it was just, and at time, he was riding Max's ass the entire time. He is the rookie of the year.
Oh, 100%. I feel like he's kind of been leaning that way, especially since like Kimi, who I'm sure we will discuss, like Kimi has been doing, I think, as good a job as he can in that situation. But he's really fallen off in the last, like, 7 or 8 races?
I mean, look, both of them have a podium apiece. Both of them have placed P3. Kimi does have a sprint win. But if we're looking at consistency...
Right. There's been a consistent upward trajectory with Isack that I don't think is present for Kimi.
Has he been knocked out in Q2 yet? Like, I don't think so.
No, I think I saw a stat the other day that I think he's the only F1 driver like in history, obviously not taking into account that he's barely finished one season.
And he was so happy.
It was so, like, genuinely everybody was so fucking jazzed for him.
Yes.
And like that you love to see because I think it's like that's the joy of racing because we all get caught up in like we want Max to succeed. We want McLaren to fail. We want Ferrari to stop being so ass.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to get caught up in like the one or two things or people you care about. And it's these moments like I'm thinking like Ocon and Monaco and what was it, like Gasly,
Monza,
Hulkenberg on the podium in Silverstone. Like it's these moments that I think make racing great.
Yes.
In addition to some really, really stellar drivers over the history of the sport.
I agree 100%. Unfortunately, he will be moving into the Red Bull next year. And
we'll never see or hear from him ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I think there was like a lot of very valid conversation happening during this race of wanting to do the best you can with the opportunities that you like worked for and like the situation that you find yourself in, P3, and then being like, if I'm too good at my job, they will give me a fucking tractor.
Yes.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Yes. I think they were talking about I don't think he was ever going to overtake Max. Max is just too good at defending. I don't think that was going to happen.
I think he might have tried.
He might have tried, but what they were essentially saying, at least on F1 TV, was do you overtake him and go for your first podium? This was when Max was still running in P3. Or are you cognizant that this is your team and your employer next year and hold off?
Here's my take on that, because I'm interested in your answer too. I think that's a stupid fucking question, because if you're a race car driver, you go for the overtake no matter who's in front of you.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Genuinely, Julian Palmer, you should be embarrassed. I'm so serious right now.
I have a qualm with the F1 TV audio engineers. Whatever noise canceling they have on their programming was not in it this week. I heard people laughing off mic. I heard soda cans opening off mic.
Yeah, it's just like they're trying to make their audio like ecosystem approachable for the average viewer. Come on, Zoe.
I heard the helicopter when we were on the helicopter cam.
Yeah.
What is that? What?
I don't know what that is, but it does remind me that it's so funny when you're watching MotoGP like through their stream. They'll just be talking. You'll essentially hear a bike tumble through gravel. And then it'll be another like 20 seconds before they're like, who's down? And you're like, I don't know, but it happened a while ago.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work we could do for the audio setup for both sports.
Yeah. I guess let's go back to the start of the race.
I like Max Verstappen is him.
He's him. Lando Norris fucks it at the start once again, but also could never pull off an overtake like that. Could never pull off a save like that. That was one of the most impressive,
genuinely,
saves I've ever seen. The only other impressive saves I've seen are from Max Verstappen himself. Like, that is insane. His control of the car has got to be the greatest to ever do it.
I think, too, his just, like, faith that it'll work out. Because that car was out of his fucking hands.
Yes.
There's something about him that feels so no nonsense. Like, it's going to work out. And the universe, like, bends to that.
Literally the story of the race.
And it's crazy because I say that, but I'm also like, no, he's insanely fucking talented and works really hard for everything that he has been given on top of that talent. Well, so I think it's a
combination of it. I think it's a combination of it because I think confidence has a lot to do with it. And he puts out a confidence and a nonchalance also into the universe that I think is rewarded in those kinds of situations.
So I think he was asked earlier this weekend, like, if there was a corner at Zandvoort that he would like to be named after himself, which one it would be. And I can't remember exactly which. Maybe it was like turn 4. Maybe it was turn 4. Whichever one. He basically was like, I like that one because whatever you do going into that corner, you have to commit to. There is no second guessing. There is no backing out of what you're doing. You have to commit. And I feel like that is so just indicative of who Max is as a person and as a racer. And I love that. I love that moment.
I agree. It was a beautiful overtake. Lando eventually did overtake back. I'm impressed. He actually did an overtake for once. Wow. The way that F1 TV was talking about it, you think he had won the world championship because he completed a successful overtake.
Yeah, I just like don't care. There's no world in which you get me to care. One of those like saddest parts about the race this weekend was how much they were trying to like amp everyone up about the McLaren 1-2 fight. And I was like, Oscar's 3.5 seconds up the road.
Mm-hmm.
And when Lando did like knuckle down and try and get up to him, he only got a 1.5 seconds close.
He still wasn't within DRS range.
And that plateaued. And it's like, okay, sure. I'm going to look at the rest of the race because that's infinitely more interesting.
Yeah. We'll come back to Lando in a second. I want to talk about the energy of Zandvoort being in Max's favor.
Oh, this was crazy. In the modern era, there are two things that I think really differentiate it for me as like a current watcher. One of which is reliability issues or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is the lack of safety cars. We don't get safety cars anymore because partly we don't have as many reliability issues that mean cars just like end up in the middle of the road.
Right.
This race was so fun because like everybody got out of it safely, which is great, but shit be happening. Shit was going down.
What I find so interesting and why I think Zandvoort was expending its dark energy for Max, he started on the softs, which was
A choice.
And pretty much right when his softs were like really starting to fall off and he was going to pit and perhaps end up way down the order, what happens? Lewis Hamilton crashes. Then he is the weird girl and everyone pits for hards and he goes the one person on the grid on a medium. He pitted for mediums, and then pretty much the second that his mediums were falling off and he needed a safety car, Charles was in the wall.
Yeah. I think it was just one of those things of like, you have to take advantage of everything you're given in these kind of situations. And I think what I find really compelling about Max as a racer is he is very, very frustrated with the fact that the car is as bad as it is. But that won't stop him from doing his job.
Absolutely.
Which is to put his car where it needs to be and make the best of a bad situation. And I think this weekend was just so indicative of that. I think there is some element of like, who the fuck was watching and like doing all of this shit? Because you're right. It felt like a miracle every time Max was losing pace. Someone was in the wall. I think the rain was really interesting too, because I was very shocked that they put him out on softs, knowing that rain was probably going to come in on lap 40. And then it ended up coming in on like lap 17 to like 20.
Yeah, earlier.
Which is ultimately like one of the factors of how Lewis ended up in the wall.
Yes.
And I was like, that's so like, sure, why not?
Right. Ferrari's no good, very bad weekend.
Oh, it was rough. It was rough.
The funniest thing in the world were those photos of Charles.
Did you see, I don't know if you've seen his like Instagram dump from this weekend. The first photo of his Instagram dump is one of the like photographer's photos of him on the hill.
He's so dramatic.
And it's so beautiful.
It's like a pastoral Hudson River Valley school painting.
It's like some combination of the Hudson River Valley School era and like fucking Renoir.
Yeah.
You know?
I can see the colors of a Renoir.
One, just like the fact that it's focused on a person in this moment in nature. I just thought it was so fucking funny. Also, like the fact that he just had to spend the rest of the race there. Hysterical.
A few years ago, Logan Sargent also got stranded in Zandvoort. And he was like, yeah, there's no way back. You just have to sit there until the end of the race.
Well, and someone gave him a phone. So he was like listening to the race broadcast.
So funny.
It's so like, good.
First, he was sitting in like a little like lawn chair.
Surrounded by photographers.
But then he makes the decision to climb up a sand dune.
Which, higher ground.
Can see better. But also, I think he likes the drama.
So he plays piano and puts it out on Spotify.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even being mean. That's just like, yeah, of course he's likes the drama.
Other fuck-ass racing incidents before we get to the biggin. Carlos Sainz wants to kill and I'm right there with him.
Okay, this is crazy because, first of all, I actually have a lot to say about the stewarding this weekend.
It was not good.
I actually genuinely have a lot to say. What else are you doing during a race that you can't do your job? Genuine question.
Playing Pips from the New York Times, like me.
Or, I don't know, fucking Wordle. I'm so honestly confused why Charles and George's kerfuffle wasn't determined during the race when it happened at lap 35 out of 72.
Yeah, like Jolyon Palmer, or maybe it was Alex Jakes, that was like, you have 40 laps left. What are you doing?
No, it was all three of them. It was
Yeah.
Julian, Alex Jakes, and
DC.
all three of them were like, what is going on?
And they talked about it because immediately after that, not immediately, but, however many laps later, Charles puts it in the wall. And then very rightfully so, they were like, well, what happens to the penalty now?
He has to serve it in Monza.
Ridiculous.
But it didn't even happen that quick. That's the thing. Like, there was time.
Right. There was plenty of time. There was like 20 laps.
Like, I don't even have words for it because it's like, what's happening? What's happening? So that's already going on. That's like a fucking disaster. And then who straight up 90% of the grid has been like, who the fuck is this guy and why is he on drag with us?
Hate him.
No one likes him.
No.
And I think it's less that no one likes him, period, and more no one likes him because he seems like a genuine danger.
He cannot race.
Like, he can't.
He is a bowling ball.
And I think that is so much more detrimental, one, to the lives of everyone around you, and two, your career. So, like, you got to lock that shit up quick. I don't know what the fuck he's doing with his time. But the Carlos and altercation is so insane to me because what the fuck is Carlos supposed to do in that situation? Like, there's nowhere he could have gone when just came up on his side. And then Carlos gets a 10-second penalty and 2 penalty points.
Was Carlos not fully alongside him, thus making it his fault? Yes. Should he have been penalized for it? No.
Should he have been penalized 10 seconds for it? Absolutely not.
Maybe I could see a 5-second penalty. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But a 10-second penalty? And again, the F1 TV commentary team were like, who is the driver representative this weekend? Because there has to be a driver on the stewarding panel at every single race, a former F1 driver. And they're like, he knows exactly that Carlos couldn't avoid that, and that shouldn't have been a penalty.
Well, the other crazy thing I saw some people talking about is after the race, Carlos was obviously chomping at the bit to talk to the stewarding panel. Allegedly, they refused to speak to him.
Talk to the hand.
And then allegedly, no one from the Williams team tried to fight it either, which to me is a huge fucking red flag.
Well,
coming from the Jonathan Wheatley school of, bitch, you're going to find the fuck out, Williams should have backed him up in some way. I also think it is a very dangerous precedent to set that you won't even speak to the athletes that you were supposed to be regulating. I am genuinely very incensed because this is one of the issues I have, I think, with F1 as a whole. We've talked about it with Kimi recently and Toto. Your job as a team principal is to back up your drivers. The driver's job is to do the best they can with the car that they have, toe the company line, and make that car work. And you do that, the contract you sign, I don't know if it's physical, I don't know if it's a social one, it depends. The social contract at the very least is, we are a team.
Right.
We are in this together.
Yeah.
And so for James Vowles to allegedly not even get involved, I think is a huge problem, especially with Carlos, who has said multiple times that he is like struggling this season, kind of acclimating to this kind of team and like this structure. I think it's a huge problem. I would not be as incensed as I am about this if it was a penalty that he clearly deserved.
I agree. Or if the penalty given made any form of sense whatsoever.
Exactly. Something is very wrong in the stewarding ecosystem.
Agreed.
And this weekend, I think, really brought that to the forefront.
So let's get to our favorite moment of the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
We are 10 laps from the end.
Yes.
Lando Norris comes on the radio and says, I smell smoke. I immediately text you, please, oh my God. Then I look up and he is indeed falling down the order. It was absolutely delicious and delightful. You said, thank you, Jesus, and also God.
I think what's so delicious about this too is like he had very clearly and unwillingly settled into the knowledge that he was only ever going to get P2 this weekend.
In this race, yet again, he asked Will for a pit stop to ostensibly swap positions with Oscar, and Will Joseph had to come back and be like, no, sorry, you're going to have to get it done on track. Can this guy go a race without asking for position swaps?
I was moving around the house, but was that televised?
Yes.
Okay, I totally missed that. That's fucking crazy.
That was after the first pit stop, but before the Charles crash.
Oscar started on pole. In what world does it make sense?
Also, you're both racing on the same compound the entire race.
Genuinely, in what world does it make sense for him to give up his pole and like fuck up his conversion rate when yours is already a disaster? I definitely missed that. That's crazy.
It was an insane moment. I can't believe more people aren't talking about it.
I think what's so delicious too about this race is that, to your point, I think his engineer was like, you got to close the gap. Like,
Yeah.
you got to do that. And he tried and tried and tried. And by the end of it, I think was maybe within like a second and a quarter from Oscar by the end. And was like, I think very unwillingly aware he was going to only secure P2. Like, I think he knew that P1 wasn't in the cards. And then he has a reliability issue. It was like a 1-2 punch from the universe that I think I desperately needed.
I needed it.
And this is what I kind of mentioned this earlier about like reliability issues, is that we don't have that. We haven't had that problem in a long time.
Well, I think also a lot of drivers are playing the engine swaps really smart. Like, I think they've kind of got the engine swap grid penalty system down.
Well, they were saying in the coverage today that typically teams will plan to swap before Monza, because this is the point in the season that on average, you're going to see reliability issues.
Right.
And that was just like borne out today.
Yes.
This is why they do that, to avoid this.
Right. And I think a couple of drivers like Ollie Behrman started from pit lane to do his engine swap. If you remember a few years ago, Max did it at Spa because he knew he could overtake there. I think that there is an element of being smart about when to make your engine swaps that clearly didn't happen today.
I don't think this was a fumble on behalf of McLaren. I think this was the universe just being like, no, fuck you.
Yeah. Can't we attribute it to being both?
No.
Why? It's fun.
Yeah, but it's even more fun to like bask in the reality of this just happening to them.
That's true. That's true. Even your illegal car will get kicked down by the universe.
Exactly. So smoke is pouring into the cockpit.
Yes. Total engine failure brings out the third safety car. You know it's a good race when there are 3.
Count them.
Pushing Max into P2. He's never finished a race at Zandvoort lower than P2. The universe wanted to keep it that way, elevating Isack Hadjar to his first podium, thus cementing this as one of my favorite races of the season.
Yeah. Was George P4?
Yes. And Alex P5.
So yeah, great day for George, who has like secretly just kind of like been there the whole time. Amazing day for Alex Albon going from P15 to P5. I think that's fucking crazy.
That's insane. Ollie Behrman went from pit lane to P6.
And I think there, like, obviously we have the caveat that 3 drivers in front of them all DNF'd, which helped.
Well, and Carlos Sainz fell down the order.
Right. So like a total of 5 cars fell out, essentially. I think so much of this, like the end of this weekend, can be summed up in the fact that there was so much like surprise joy at the end of Sunday and so much in the dumps.
Yeah.
Also. And on some level, it's like, okay, genuinely, I think it's very hard nowadays to find someone who like genuinely is very apathetic towards Lando or McLaren as a whole. So Lando DNFing either makes you very happy or very sad.
Yes.
The Ferrari situation, if you're a Ferrari fan, this is kind of par for the course. You guys have shit luck. You kind of expect it.
Yeah.
It's obviously a huge bummer, but it's not surprising.
I'm not surprised that both Ferraris failed to finish the race.
And at least you got like really funny images of it. Like
you got
obviously,
a new meme.
Charles on the dune and Lewis was there like picking up pieces of his car, which is so Ferrari of both of them.
So Ferrari of both of them.
Something felt right in the universe again this weekend in F1.
Fernando Alonso scored points. Both Aston Martins came home with a good handful of points.
Fernando Alonso was like screaming.
Crazy weekend. Crazy weekend. And we still have to make our predictions for Monza.
Oh my God. Oh, I do actually have one other thing I want to say.
Oh, yeah, what's up?
I think I'm going to say it. I am coming to terms with an Oscar Piastri World Championship.
Oh, this is an excellent point that I wanted to talk about. Bernie Eccleston.
Holy shit. You should have trigger warned me.
Sorry. Was quoted after the race saying, "I'd bet on the Australian after just 3 races. He goes his own way and is mentally far superior to Norris."
I mean, like, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Worst person you know makes a great point.
Sadly, I think we both predicted a Max championship.
Yeah, because we had faith.
We had joy in whimsy. I'm not mad at an Oscar championship.
Right. Like, if I have to deal with a McLaren win,
I definitely want it to be Oscar.
This is the way I want it to go.
Right.
And I think this weekend is a really great example, too, of all the ways in which Oscar has stepped his game up just in the last year.
Tire management has always been a huge issue for Oscar.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It was a huge problem for him last year.
And in his rookie season, too. And now he is one of the best tire management drivers he is doing, I think also the McLaren does not, the tires don't degrade.
No, that car is illegal.
But a single lockup and Lando would have been within DRS range, maybe able to overtake him. I don't think so because he can't do that, but whatever. And he was flawless.
Watching his after the race little interview, one, very cute that they had to go out of order because Isack was celebrating too hard with his team.
He's so cute.
So they had to start with Max, and then they went to Isack, and then they went to Oscar, and Oscar was like, well, I don't know if I can really follow up Isack. Congratulations for his first ever podium. And it's like, buddy, you won the race.
Yeah.
Oscar is not the most interesting orator.
He is just some guy.
He is just some guy. But it was interesting hearing him just with utter stone cold confidence. Yeah, I feel like we really controlled the race. I was like, holy shit.
Really?
Just
really felt that way?
I need him to get McLaren's boot off of his neck because there's something in him that I find very cold and calculating. And I want him to go all the way with that.
Just to end on a happy note, Isack Hadjar was so cute on the podium. He was so excited.
Adorable.
He's my little baby boy.
And everyone was so jazzed for him. I think it was so lovely to see. The grandstands went crazy. I don't know. Just that's what makes it wonderful. That's what makes the sport.
So that brings us to the next race, which is Monza. Monza is for dreamers.
Monza is for dreamers. Am I going to sound crazy if I go for a Charles P1?
He got P1 last year.
It's not going to happen, but I want it to.
Would you like to make your predictions?
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Charles P1 because why not?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with an Oscar P2, Lando P3, Lewis Hamilton, Fail King. Because why not pile it on?
Okay. I think I'm going to go, again, Monza is for dreamers, Max Verstappen P1, Oscar Piastri P2, Alex Albon P3.
Oh, inspired.
Listen, it's a high downforce track, and what has more high downforce than that, Williams?
No, what was it, Montreal? That they did really well at it a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm. And then for Fail King, I'm going to say Charles.
Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't going to go with a Charles P1, it would be Fail King.
100%.
There's no in between for him there. I'm excited to see Lewis go to Monza for the first time as a Ferrari driver.
I am too.
I think he's going to be very humbled and it's going to be very emotionally resonant for him, which is so funny because it's a cult.
Yeah, it's literally a cult. That brings us to the grid as ... which for the uninitiated is a moment in our podcast where we categorize a handful of drivers and riders from across the great wide world of motorsport as a person, place, thing, concept, idea. And in honor of Labor Day, which is tomorrow, I thought we could do the grid as various unions.
Ooh, I love this.
As we are a pro-labor, pro-union podcast. All right, would you like to go first?
I would like to go first. Marc Marquez is the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers.
Okay.
Because he's an alien.
Yes.
There you go. Marco Bezzecchi is the United Brotherhood of Carpenters and Joiners. Because he is building that bike from the ground up.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
I do have a bonus.
Okay, go ahead with your bonus.
I think Charles Leclerc is the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, only because the logo I could find of them has horses on it.
Yes. In a very similar vein, for my picks, Lewis Hamilton is SAG-AFTRA, or the Screen Actors Guild. He is dramatic. And you know what? The Teamsters and SAG-AFTRA always work together whenever
in tandem
the actors unions go on strike, because they are obviously the truckers that deliver sets and stuff, and they will block set lots with those trucks, which I think is iconic.
No, it is.
And then, I don't know if you can tell, but the sun is in my face.
I can see that, yes.
Okay, stick with me here.
I'm following.
Fernando Alonso
Yeah.
is the Bakery, Confectionery, Tobacco Workers, and Grain Millers International Union.
Okay.
Which says to me that it's been around for so long that it's just picked up various unions like he picks up various teams.
Yeah, I see it.
Let's see when they were founded. 1886.
Yeah, the year he was born.
The year he was born. Exactly. Anyways, guess that brings us to the end of the podcast. Please like, share, rate, review, subscribe, comment, any and all of the above mechanisms to help grow the podcast. We really appreciate it. Go ahead and come follow us on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, YouTube. Head over to our website, MotoMouths.com. And let's keep chatting soon.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.